Without wasting any time, Scorpion trades some of our salvage and gear to the warehouse terminal in exchange for some high-quality medicine and rations to treat his beloved and infected Maria. Actually, given that Maria is our best medic, I let her attempt to treat herself first, though her food poisoning and zombification limits her treatment effectiveness. But don't worry, Scorpion will take over caring for Maria from this point onward, and he'll also take this time to scavenge the surface during this brief, though critical period of calm. Scorpion finds himself some silver, some really good armor, and even an intel map, which when read will reveal the location of another ruin containing a bunker just like this one, which I'll read in due time. After scavenging, I take our only sleeping bag and place it in a cleaner environment for Maria to recover in. We still can't build beds, nor can I reinstall any of these beds within the barracks Scorpion is sleeping in. And this next round of treatment, as performed by Scorpion, is finally enough for Maria's immunity to slowly begin to catch up to her infection. After that, Scorpion repeats the process of transferring our salvage and gear from the surface to the bunker, and then looting whatever food he can from the surface as well. Finally, a couple days after infection, Maria's immunity surpasses her Necroa. Scorpion and Maria have saved each other's lives so many times now that I can't even track who's, more goated at this point. These two lovers make for one hell of a team. Meanwhile, Hall, the sole surviving Halixian slugman living in the maintenance tunnels underneath us, is seemingly content munching away on rotting corpses. Though, as you might notice later on, Hall will ultimately decide to leave the bunker willingly. So we'll have to add finding another monster to live in our basement to the checklist of never-ending shit we have to do. Finally, Maria reaches immunity, which is immediately followed up with her gaining the Inventor perk, which, to put it simply, means she'll research faster but work a little bit slower. The next thing that happens is the return of the monolith, which looms over the bunker from afar. And finally, Maria reads the intel map that we found, which reveals the location of an abandoned shopping mall about a day's west of our position, one that contains a subterranean level just like our bunker, one that I suspect to be inhabited by friend and foe. Maria will put her newly acquired inventor trait to the test and begin researching culture, which will finally unlock the ability for our colonists to develop their own ideology. Meanwhile, Scorpion continues doing what he's been doing on the surface. Maria will also make herself useful by beginning to secure the loot of the tunnels underneath us, though with only limited success, as the presence of so many corpses rapidly stresses her the hell out. Looking around pays off really well though, as we wind up finding 3 more intel maps down there among the rooms. Scorpion didn't even notice nor check these while trying to find medicine for Maria. Also, look at all these boxes we can loot. This is actually a mild bug, as most of these boxes have already been searched and there's nothing in them, but that was only a case for a handful. The rest did have loot in them. Finally, 149 days after crash landing, we can develop our own ideology. So, to put it simply, I created a fluid ideology known as the Lake Mountain Creed. Those who follow the creed believe in honest, hard labor, and don't care about wearing tattered or tainted clothing. We accept all races of xenohuman, but those who put in the work are respected above all. Walking this path of hard, dumb labor does result in a roughly 50% research speed penalty, although that's just a small price to pay. I went with this simple, fluid approach because I didn't want to devote myself to any playstyle without getting some input from you, actually, my dear viewer. So, what do you think Scorpion and Maria should become? Should we default to basic bitch cannibal sadism, slavery, and organ farming, or do some psychic research worshipping the very anomaly hunting them? Or should we be vampire worshipping pirates, or lean into the Mad Max Metro stalker lifestyle of salvaging the wasteland? I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now that the creed has been established, we can take a breather and celebrate over a couple of rations that we bought from the warehouse terminal, and with, of course, a day's worth of hard work. This is also where we wish Hall good luck. May we meet again. In the evening, our two lovers spend the night on the surface and finally do something that they've never done before. Scorpion and Maria receive a distress signal from a Roman Senate faction about a day's ride west of us. As we mobilize to help our neighbors, it seems whatever forces attacked them have attacked us. These are gore hulks, servants of the Anomaly tied to the monolith. A trick to killing them involves getting into melee range in order to prevent them from launching their spines at you, though with that in mind, we'll rely on our guns for this fight. And just when things can get more interesting, Maria contracts malaria, so I have her fall back immediately in order to get on top of the disease. Meanwhile, Scorpion gets the attention of an especially unique shambler who was once a modded quest giver named Sappho, now turned into a super lethal zombie that, funny enough, is still capable of offering her quest to us. Who would have thought that Sappho, Lady of the Sacrilege Hunters, would have been brought to this point? And that Sappho Shambler has some insane gear too, mostly because the modder that created her turned her into your usual cringy RimWorld anime waifu, so, now we're stuck with this. Anyway, Scorpion outmaneuvers the Sappho Shambler and drags one of the bleeding out gore hulks into the bunker. I think we found our new basement monster. Jokes aside, the gore hulk is dragged into the tunnels and kept into one of the rooms with virtually useless restraints. It will absolutely break out, but that's fine with me. We have plenty of sticks to beat it back into submission as needed. Anyway, a bit later, we're sent a care package from the Empire deserters containing food, medicine, and a reminder that Maria is indeed an Empire insurrectionist. While Scorpion grabs it, he notices, then investigates the monolith. The Anomaly's surging presence attracts both friend and foe to our land, which should give Scorpion and Maria a chance to reach the distress signal. The camp is covered in flesh beasts, and anybody capable of lighting a distress signal in the first place is certainly no longer alive. I'd imagine this is an especially harrowing experience for Scorpion given his first encounter with flesh beasts. And these flesh beasts do what flesh beasts do best, which is bum rush the hell out of you. So despite taking some superficial damage, Scorpion and Maria defeat the entities and even get a chance to perform some field research on this land's crops to advance our next long-term research project, which is mushroom cultivation, a major step towards underground bunker longevity. We even find some decent weapons and furniture, some of which we can realistically haul back home when the time cometh. After cutting down all the beasts that we could, we gather what we can haul, food especially, and journey back home. Also, our pet Gorehulk woke up. I hope he enjoys his stay. Also, just before we get back to our territory, Shamblers rip apart the local Boomrat and Boomalope populations, thus leading to a massive wildfire outbreak. Outbreak of wildfire? Whatever, you get it. Despite this, we still make it home alright. Thankfully, just about all of our walls are fireproof. All except perhaps the most important ones, the walls surrounding our gardens and our legendary stallion, Boa. Maria, due to some past traumatic event, refuses to beat out fires, so Scorpion will have to hold back the flames to the best of his ability. Yet, despite his best efforts, the fire inevitably spreads out of control. Shamblers are everywhere, so we'll have to harvest what crops we can, keep Boa safe inside our walls, and then let the walls burn. And then the earth started to shake.